Welcome to this episode of Krai the Coding Guy. I'm Krai, that's Krai with a K, otherwise it's Rai. In this episode, we're going to talk a little bit about GCP Compute Engine specifically. I formulated this video, to be honest, so that to help me with my studies. I learn better when it's visually. I learn better when it's auditory. So I hope this helps you to understand GCP a little bit better. I come from an Azure background, so some of the concepts are familiar to me, some are not. And today we're going to discuss GCP Compute Engine. And if you think you want to like this video, like this video. If you want to subscribe, please subscribe. If you don't like this video, you can show me a thumbs down, but just explain why, at least, so that I don't lie down at night worrying why Joe Smo didn't like this video. Was it my face? Was it my shirt? Or was it just the content? Right, so before you don't see my face anymore, this episode once again is about Compute Engine on GCP. All right, so like I said, I am trying to learn some new things, and one of the ways I learn is by making videos and teaching other people. So let's hope my teaching skills are up to scratch. So today we're going to do a little bit exciting stuff. Compute Engine GCP, it's basically the VMs on GCP. If you're familiar with Azure virtual machines, then this is exactly it. It's just called Compute Engine, but it is a VM. So in a nutshell, Google's Compute Engine is a service that allows you to create and run virtual machines on Google's infrastructure. And when we say Google's infrastructure, we mean the cloud. So that's it. We mean the cloud. Now, VMs are useful for running applications, hosting websites, and other tasks that compute resources. Now, in the later section, I will discuss some of the other options to run websites. So you don't always have to run on Compute Engine. I'm not a big fan of hosting any website on a VM, but that's just me. So in other sections, we will discuss that, and hopefully we'll have some time. So in order for me to study, I thought it would be great to understand some of the best practices of running a compute engine. And there are a few topics that I found out that's quite important in speaking to guys on forums and Google. I found out that these are basically the 4 things that's very important when you create a VM. So the first one is look at preemptible VMs. These are VMs that spot instances on Azure, if you want to call that. And these are instances that Google can shut down at any time. So it's important to look at what preemptible VMs are and what they can be used for. It can be used on demand processing. Like sometimes people use it for rendering of images or anything that can be disrupted at a time. Some calculations is quite helpful for that. Then it's important to use auto scaling. One of the advantages of cloud is auto scaling, so you don't have to buy all the cost up front. And if you don't know of the advantages of cloud, just Google a little bit about it, or if you're welcome, I can show you some of the advantages of cloud in a later video. Just put a comment in the description below if you want to know more advantages of the clouds. But auto scaling, because auto scaling allows you to automatically increase or decrease the number of VMs in a managed instance group based on workload. So this can help you save costs. So in a busy time of the year, you need more resources and scale up, and during the night it can scale down. And then the third one is use managed instance groups. So managed instance groups allow you to manage a group of identical VMs as a single entity. This makes it easier to perform tasks such as scaling, rolling updates, and automatic repairs. So it's important to know here that managed instance groups allow you to manage a group of identical VMs as a single entity. This is quite cool. So it's almost like a template, if you want to call it like that. Use load balancing. Load balancing distributes incoming traffic across multiple VMs to improve performance and availability. You can use either network load balancing or HTTPS load balancing, well, depending on what you need. Now, it is important what I found out when I start learning Google, that you do know some of the command line tools. So here is some ways of setting it up in command line. G-Cloud is the SDK, the command line tool for Google, just like Azure CLI. There is a Google CLI. and you can run this in the command line. I will show you what the command line looks like, and I'll show you how to create a VM in the console. And if you have not used the console before, I'll show you a little bit how to get access to the console. So this is just a little tool, CLI tool in the terminal. You can run cloud auth login command, and then once you logged in, you can run the following. So it's what it basically saying is you run gcloud, which is the main command. You say it's a compute instance, and you create an instance and telling it the name, the zone, machine type, and image. There's a bunch of images, and you can just check out the images on the website, and this will create a VM for you. All right. Now, if you are new to Google GCP, you can sign up for, I think there's a trial period of about 3 months. You get 300 free credits to use on the trial period. It's quite awesome. They also have free products that's free usage for forever. You get 1 micro instance per month, which is free. So this is quite a nice page to check your free image. The first time you sign up, you will get 300 credits to play around with. That goes really quickly. And then what you can do is once you have set up everything else, you can go to console. There, you can go to google.cloud.com and then go to your console. Once you've logged in, your console looks like the following. So this is the console if you haven't seen it before. So I'm just going to clear the search so that I can show you what's happening there. So on the side, if you have never worked with Google, and if the internet's not too slow, you got a little icon over top there. And here you can search all your stuff you want. We want Compute Engine, or you can type in Compute Engine here at the top. And if you type in Compute Engine, it will go to, if my instances is not too slow, it will go. For purposes of this demo, we are going to go to Compute Engine. I'm just going to walk you through the basics, nothing major. So I will cover more detail in later sections. This is just the basic of a Compute Engine. Once you are on a Compute Engine, I have no Compute Engines available yet. If I did, there would be a status of a Compute Engine with the IP and everything. You can create a Compute Engine. There's the instance name. Please note that these are case sensitive. There's labels. Labels are quite useful to identify stuff like when it's in production to delete. A lot of times I put my label to delete to know that I need to delete a VM. If we look at micro, we should see the price up here. And if I'm not mistaken, we get E2 micro instance per month free. We should be getting that for free if you're on the free trial. I'm not gonna pay for this now. I think my subscription just ended, so but this is $7 a month, which is really not much. And then you can look at all the other options that I have on machine families for compute, for general purpose, and then you can create a container, deploy a container from this image. You can change the boot disk types. You can change the image types. If you go here, there's a bunch of operating systems that you can choose from. Everything from Debian to Windows. We have type of Debian server. So we have, if we choose Windows, you can see, just taking a little time, there's different Windows servers that we have that we can choose from. And we have custom images, if there is custom images, some existing disk types that we have if we want to. There's advanced configuration, and I'm only showing this advanced configuration because a lot of time you want to keep your boot disk when you delete your resource. I'm just going to cancel this one. There is the identity access management. So Here you can allow default access or allow full access to your cloud. If you're running a website, it's important maybe to put on your firewall rules, HTTP and HTTPS traffic, depending on what you want. And I'm going to show you the advanced options because if you don't have a network installed, by default, there is a default network. Google will automatically create the VM in the default network. And in some cases, your network admin has destroyed the default network. In that case, you'll have to create a network in order to be able to create the Compute Engine virtual machine. And as you can see, here is the network interface. It's currently on default. If not, you'll have to add one on your own. Once you're done, you can create one. But I really want to show you this part, and this is the nice part I like. And this is showing the equivalent command line. And by clicking on there, you can see the equivalent command line. You can copy and paste this command line. Then you can even run it in Cloud Shell by clicking that button there, or there is a little Cloud Shell here that you can run by clicking that. And it's just going to do some checks for us. And then, yes, provisioning the Cloud Shell computer. Look, I am your Cloud Shell. There we go. It's connecting to the Cloud Shell instance. Yes. There is our terminal, and then you can copy and paste and run it here. I'm not going to run it here now. I don't want to incur any cost. This is just for educational purposes. Once I sort out my account a little bit more and I have more credits, then I will definitely create VMs for future. But I'm not using VMs for my personal one. This is just for training purposes. So, but you can paste it and then run it from here. That is the cool part of this whole section. So this is not a very intense section, more of an introduction to Google Cloud and Compute Engine. And if you have any comments, any questions, put it in the discussion board below. If you want to like this video, don't like this video, it's up to you. I'm not going to push you because I am not a dictator. I might be a dick, but I'm not a tater. Okay, so that's it. And then, yep, that is the section of this is this episode of Cry the Coding Guy.